In the serene corners of a quaint town, there blossomed a love story between Mark and Julia. Their paths crossed through mutual friends, and from the moment their eyes met, a tender connection was formed. Over 4 enchanting years of courtship, their bond deepened, culminating in a heartfelt wedding where they pledged their lives to one another. Mark was a paragon of devotion, an honorable man whose honesty and diligence were the pillars of their union. Every day, he showered Julia with love and kindness, treating her like a true princess. His eyes sparkled with joy whenever she was near, and his every action was a testament to his unwavering commitment. Julia, too, seemed to revel in the love they shared. Her laughter filled their home with warmth, and her smile was the sun that brightened Mark's world. But as the years rolled by, the once vibrant connection between them began to show signs of strain. Though Mark remained steadfast in his love, a subtle change crept into Julia's heart, setting the stage for a future neither of them could foresee. Their love, once a blooming rose, now stood at the edge of a tempest, the petals trembling under the weight of an approaching storm. Yet, in the quiet moments of their daily life, Mark clung to the hope that their love would withstand any trial, unaware of the shadows gathering on the horizon. As time wove its intricate tapestry, the fabric of Mark and Julia's relationship began to fray. Mark's dream of expanding their family grew stronger with each passing day, but Julia's heart harbored no desire for motherhood. The joy that once defined their home now gave way to silent, growing tensions. Mark, ever patient and hopeful, believed that Julia might one day share his yearning for a child. His eyes, once filled with unclouded love, now carried a shadow of unspoken sorrow. Every tender request for a conversation about their future seemed to push Julia further away. She started coming home late, the spark in her eyes dimmed, and the affectionate gestures that had once been so natural now felt forced and distant. Mark, still deeply in love, couldn't understand the chasm forming between them. His heart ached with each passing day as he watched the woman he adored become a stranger. Julia's late nights grew more frequent, her excuses less convincing. She would often stare out the window, lost in thoughts she didn't share. One evening, Mark prepared a special dinner, hoping to rekindle the connection they once cherished. The table was set with candles flickering softly, casting warm glows across the room. Julia arrived late, her demeanor cold and detached. Mark's heart sank as she barely touched the meal he had lovingly prepared. Their conversations became battlegrounds, each word a potential trigger. Mark's longing for a family clashed with Julia's need for freedom, and their home, once a sanctuary of love, echoed with the painful silence of unspoken words. Mark clung to the hope that this was just a phase, that their love could weather any storm. Yet, deep down, he felt a growing sense of dread, a premonition of the heartache that lay ahead. One fateful evening, as Mark walked home from work, a sight stopped him dead in his tracks. There, in the town square, under the golden hues of the setting sun, stood Julia, holding hands with a well-dressed man. Their intimate gestures and shared laughter spoke volumes of a bond that transcended mere friendship. Mark's heart plummeted, shattering into fragments with each heartbeat. Frozen in place, Mark watched as Julia leaned in closer to the man, her eyes sparkling with a warmth he hadn't seen in a long time. He felt an overwhelming wave of betrayal and pain wash over him, but he chose not to confront them in public. Instead, he turned away, his mind racing and his heart breaking. When he arrived home, he waited for Julia with a mix of dread and determination. The walls, once witnesses to their love, now seemed to close in on him, amplifying his solitude. Hours later, Julia walked through the door, her face flushed with the glow of her secret escapade. "Julia," Mark began, his voice trembling yet resolute, "I saw you today. In the square. Who is he? Julia's eyes widened with shock, but it was fleeting. She quickly composed herself, her expression turning defiant. Mark, I don't know what you think you saw, but it's not what you imagine. Don't lie to me, Mark implored, his voice cracking under the weight of his anguish. I saw you. I saw the way you looked at him. With a sigh of resignation, Julia dropped the pretense. Fine, she admitted, her tone cold and unfeeling. His name is Leo. He's my boss. And yes, we've been seeing each other. I've fallen in love with him. Mark felt as if the ground beneath him had given way. How could you, Julia? After everything we've been through? Julia shrugged, her gaze unwavering. What did you expect, Mark? You've been clinging to this fantasy of a perfect family, but that's not what I want. I'm tired of this simple life. I want more. I want excitement, passion, and a future that doesn't tie me down. The finality of her words struck Mark like a dagger to the heart. So, what now? He asked, his voice barely above a whisper. Julia's expression softened slightly, but her resolve remained firm. I want a divorce, Mark. I want to be free to live the life I choose. I'm sorry, but this is the end. Tears streamed down Mark's face as he nodded, the reality of his shattered dreams settling over him like a heavy shroud. If that's what you want, he said, his voice thick with sorrow, then I'll give it to you. I hope you find the happiness you're looking for. With that, Julia packed her bags and walked out of their home, leaving Mark to grapple with the wreckage of their once beautiful life. As the door closed behind her, Mark sank to his knees, the weight of his heartbreak almost too much to bear. In the days that followed Julia's departure, Mark's world felt like a vast, empty void. The house, once filled with laughter and love, now echoed with silence. Every corner, every room was a painful reminder of the life they had built together and the future that had been so cruelly torn away. Mark moved through his days in a daze, his heart heavy with grief. He tried to keep up appearances at work, but his mind was elsewhere, lost in the memories of happier times. Nights were the worst. The emptiness of their bed was a constant reminder of Julia's betrayal and the gaping hole she had left in his heart. One evening, as Mark sat alone in their dimly lit living room, he found himself surrounded by their wedding photos and mementos from their life together. The pictures, once symbols of joy and unity, now felt like ghosts of a past that no longer existed. With trembling hands, Mark gathered them up, one by one, and placed them in a box. It was a painful process, but he knew he needed to start letting go. Mark's friends and family tried to support him, offering kind words and shoulders to cry on. But the pain was too raw, too personal. He felt as though he was drifting, disconnected from the world around him. It was during one of these dark nights, as he stared at the empty side of the bed where Julia used to sleep, that a realization began to take root in his heart. He couldn't let this heartbreak define him. He couldn't allow Julia's betrayal to destroy the person he was. Slowly, determination started to replace the sorrow. He decided that he would rebuild his life, piece by piece, and find a way to move forward. Mark threw himself into activities that he had once loved but had set aside. He began running again, finding solace in the rhythm of his footsteps and the fresh air filling his lungs. He joined a local swimming club, the cool water a balm for his troubled mind. Through physical exertion, he began to reclaim a sense of control over his life. At work, Mark immersed himself in his projects, using them as a distraction from his emotional turmoil. His colleagues noticed the change in him and admired his dedication, unaware of the pain that fueled it. Slowly, he started to reconnect with old friends, finding comfort in their familiar faces and shared memories. Despite the progress he was making, the nights remained difficult. But Mark clung to his newfound resolve, determined not to let the darkness consume him. He began to see a therapist, opening up about his feelings of betrayal and loss. With time, he started to understand that his pain was valid, but it didn't have to define his future. As the weeks turned into months, Mark found himself growing stronger. The wounds Julia had left were still there, but they were beginning to heal. He realized that while he couldn't change the past, he had the power to shape his future, and with that knowledge, he resolved to build a life filled with hope and possibility, no matter how long it took. Months passed, and with them, the sharp sting of betrayal began to dull, replaced by a quiet determination. Mark had rebuilt the pieces of his shattered heart and was now ready to embrace life again. One morning, as the sun painted the sky with hues of gold and rose, he made his way to the local park, a place that had become a sanctuary for his healing soul. It was in this park that Mark found solace, running through trails lined with tall, whispering trees. On this particular morning, as he jogged along his usual path, he noticed a group of people gathered near the lake. Curiosity piqued. He slowed his pace and wandered closer. There, among the crowd, was a woman with kind eyes and a warm smile, speaking passionately to the group. Her name was Emily, and she was organizing a charity run to raise funds for a local children's shelter. Mark watched, captivated by her energy and compassion. She spoke of hope and resilience, of the power of community to uplift and support one another. As the group dispersed, Mark found himself drawn to her. He approached, feeling a flutter of nerves that he hadn't felt in a long time. "Hi, I'm Mark," he said, extending his hand. "I was really moved by what you said." Emily turned to him, her eyes lighting up with genuine warmth. "Thank you, Mark. I'm Emily." It's always heartening to meet someone who shares the same passion for helping others. They talked for a while, sharing stories of their pasts, their struggles, and their hopes for the future. Mark found himself opening up to Emily in a way he hadn't with anyone since Julia. There was a sincerity in her that drew him in, a light that seemed to chase away the lingering shadows of his past. Over the next few weeks, Mark and Emily spent more time together. They worked side by side on the charity run, their bond growing stronger with each shared laugh and every meaningful conversation. Emily's presence in his life felt like a gentle balm, soothing the wounds left by Julia's betrayal. One evening, after a long day of preparations for the event, they sat by the lake, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky blazed with vibrant colors, reflecting on the calm waters. Emily turned to Mark, her eyes soft and searching. "You've come a long way, haven't you?" she asked, her voice barely more than a whisper. Mark nodded, his gaze fixed on the horizon. "Yes, I have. There was a time when I thought I'd never heal, that the pain would consume me. But now I feel hopeful." Emily reached out, her hand finding his. "Hope is a powerful thing, Mark. It's what brought us here, together, and I believe it will guide us to even brighter days." In that moment, Mark felt a swell of emotion. He had found a kindred spirit in Emily, someone who understood his pain and shared his dreams. As they sat there, hand in hand, Mark realized that this was a new beginning. He had emerged from the darkness stronger and more resilient, ready to embrace the love and happiness that life had to offer. The charity run was a success, a testament to their hard work and the power of community. As Mark crossed the finish line, Emily cheering him on, He knew that this was just the beginning of a beautiful journey. Together, they would build a future filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. With the charity run a resounding success, the bond between Mark and Emily deepened, their connection growing with each passing day. Mark found himself looking forward to every moment they spent together, her presence a constant source of warmth and joy in his life. Emily, too, felt a profound sense of happiness and contentment in Mark's company, their shared values and experiences weaving their lives together in a beautiful tapestry of companionship. One crisp autumn afternoon, as the leaves turned to brilliant shades of gold and crimson, Mark and Emily decided to take a hike up a nearby hill that offered a panoramic view of the town. The air was cool and fresh, filled with the earthy scent of fallen leaves. They walked side by side, their steps in perfect harmony, the silence between them comfortable and serene. As they reached the summit, the town sprawled below them, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. They sat on a large, flat rock, the vast sky stretching out before them, painted in hues of orange and pink. Mark turned to Emily, his heart swelling with emotion. "Emily," he began, his voice gentle, "I never thought I could feel this way again. You've brought so much light into my life, more than I ever thought possible after everything I went through." Emily smiled, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "Mark, you've shown me the true meaning of resilience and strength. Your heart is so full of love and kindness, and I'm grateful every day that our paths crossed." Mark took a deep breath, gathering his courage. "I know we've both been through our share of pain, but I believe that everything we've experienced has led us to this moment. I've fallen in love with you, Emily. You've given me a reason to believe in love again." Emily's tears spilled over, her heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "Oh, Mark, I love you too. You've brought so much joy and meaning into my life. I can't imagine a future without you in it." They embraced, their hearts beating as one, the world around them fading into a blur of colors and emotions. The love they shared was a testament to the power of healing and the beauty of second chances. From that day forward, Mark and Emily's love blossomed, their relationship a source of strength and inspiration to everyone around them. They continued to work together on various community projects, their shared passion for helping others only deepening their bond. Their love story was not without its challenges, but they faced each obstacle with unwavering support and understanding. They knew that their pasts had shaped them, but it was their present and future together that truly defined them. In each other, they had found a partner, a confidant, and a true love that transcended the pain of their pasts. Their journey was one of healing and growth, of finding light in the darkest of times, and of building a life filled with hope, love, and endless possibilities. As Mark and Emily's love flourished, they began to delve deeper into each other's lives, sharing stories and secrets that had remained buried for years. One evening, as they sat together by the fireplace in Mark's cozy living room, the flickering flames casting a warm glow on their faces, Emily decided it was time to reveal a part of her past that had long haunted her. "Mark," she began softly, her eyes fixed on the dancing flames, "there's something I need to tell you. It's a part of my life that I've kept hidden for a long time, but I feel like you should know." Mark turned to her, his expression gentle and encouraging. "Emily, you can tell me anything. Whatever it is, I'm here for you." She took a deep breath, gathering her thoughts. "Before I moved here, I was married. His name was Daniel, and at first our relationship seemed perfect. But over time, things changed. He became distant, cold, and eventually, he started seeing someone else. When I found out, it shattered me. I tried to salvage our marriage, but he left without a second thought." Mark's heart ached for her, understanding the depth of her pain. "I'm so sorry, Emily. I can't imagine how difficult that must have been for you," Emily continued, her voice trembling. "It was one of the hardest things I've ever faced. I felt so betrayed and worthless. Moving here was my way of starting over, of finding myself again. And then I met you, and everything began to change. You've shown me that love can be beautiful and real, and for that, I'm eternally grateful." Mark reached out, taking her hand in his touch a comforting reassurance. "Emily, your strength amazes me. You've been through so much, and yet here you are, shining brighter than ever. Your past doesn't define you. It's just a part of your story, one that has led you to this moment, to us." Tears welled up in Emily's eyes as she squeezed Mark's hand. "Thank you, Mark. Your words mean more to me than you'll ever know. I've been afraid of being hurt again, but with you I feel safe. I feel like I can finally let go of the past and embrace the future." Mark leaned in, brushing a gentle kiss on her forehead. "We'll face the future together, Emily. No matter what comes our way, we'll be there for each other. You've given me hope and love when I thought I'd lost it forever. I promise to cherish and protect you always." In that moment, the bond between them grew even stronger, their love fortified by the vulnerability and honesty they shared. Emily felt a weight lifted from her heart, the shadows of her past fading into the background as she looked into Mark's eyes, filled with love and understanding. As the night wore on, they continued to talk, their conversation weaving through memories and dreams, fears and hopes. They knew that their journey together would not always be easy, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, hand in hand, their love a beacon of light guiding them through the darkest of times. Together, they embraced the dawn of a new chapter in their lives, one built on trust, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to each other. The past was a part of them, but it no longer held them captive. Their future, bright and filled with promise, awaited them, and they were ready to step into it, side by side. As seasons changed and their love deepened, Mark felt a growing desire to make Emily his partner in every sense. He wanted to show her that his love was eternal, boundless, and unwavering. The idea of proposing began to take root in his mind, filling him with a sense of purpose and excitement. One crisp autumn evening, Mark decided the time had come. He wanted the proposal to be perfect, a moment Emily would treasure forever. He planned a weekend getaway to a quaint, picturesque cabin nestled in the woods, a place where nature's beauty would serve as the backdrop for this significant milestone in their lives. As they arrived at the cabin, Emily was taken aback by the serene beauty surrounding them. The golden leaves, the gentle rustling of the trees, and the cool, fresh air created an atmosphere of peace and tranquility. Mark had gone all out, making sure every detail was perfect, from the cozy fire crackling in the hearth to the soft, inviting blankets draped over the sofa. On the second evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, Mark led Emily to a secluded spot by a nearby lake. The water mirrored the sky, creating a breathtaking scene. A small table was set up with candles, flowers, and a bottle of their favorite wine. Emily's eyes sparkled with wonder as she took in the romantic setting. "Mark, this is incredible. It's like something out of a dream." Mark smiled, his heart pounding with anticipation. "You deserve nothing less, Emily. You've brought so much joy and love into my life. I wanted to create a moment that reflects just how much you mean to me." They sat together, sipping wine and sharing stories, their laughter echoing through the stillness of the evening. As the sky darkened and stars began to twinkle above, Mark took a deep breath, gathering his courage. "Emily," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "from the moment I met you, I knew there was something special about you. You've shown me what true love is, and you've brought light into my life in ways I never thought possible. I can't imagine my future without you by my side." Emily's heart raced as she realized what was happening. Tears welled up in her eyes, reflecting the starlight. Mark reached into his pocket and pulled out a small, velvet box. He opened it to reveal a delicate, sparkling ring. "Emily, will you do me the honor of becoming my wife? Will you marry me and continue this beautiful journey together?" Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks as she looked into Mark's eyes, filled with love and hope. "Yes, Mark. 1,000 times yes." Mark slipped the ring onto her finger, his hands trembling with joy. They embraced, their hearts beating as one, the world around them fading into the background. In that moment, they felt an unbreakable bond, a promise of a future filled with love, support, and endless possibilities. As they held each other under the starry sky, Mark whispered, "I love you, Emily. Always and forever." Emily smiled, her heart overflowing with happiness. "I love you too, Mark. Forever and always." The night continued with a sense of magic and wonder, the stars bearing witness to their love. They knew that, no matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together, their hearts united in a love that would stand the test of time. The months leading up to the wedding were filled with anticipation and joy. Mark and Emily planned every detail together, ensuring their special day would be a true reflection of their love. Friends and family rallied around them, offering support and sharing in their excitement. The wedding day dawned bright and clear, the air filled with a sense of promise and new beginnings. Emily woke early, her heart fluttering with a mix of nerves and happiness. Her bridesmaids, a close-knit group of lifelong friends, were by her side, helping her prepare. As she slipped into her wedding dress, a gown of ethereal lace and satin, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. She looked in the mirror and saw a woman ready to embark on the most beautiful journey of her life. Meanwhile, Mark was surrounded by his best friends and brothers, their camaraderie easing any jitters he might have felt. They laughed and joked, reminiscing about old times and the road that had led him to this moment. Dressed in a classic black tuxedo, Mark felt a sense of rightness, knowing he was about to marry the woman who had transformed his life. The ceremony took place in a charming, rustic chapel nestled in a meadow. Wildflowers bloomed around the entrance, their colors vibrant against the green backdrop. Inside, soft candlelight flickered, casting a warm glow over the wooden pews and stained glass windows. As Emily walked down the aisle, accompanied by her father, her eyes met Mark's. In that moment, it felt as though time stood still. Her father, his eyes misty with emotion, gently placed her hand in Mark's before stepping back. The couple stood before their loved ones, their hearts full of love and gratitude. The officiant began, his words weaving a tapestry of love, commitment, and shared dreams. "Today, we gather to celebrate the union of Mark and Emily, two souls who have found their perfect complement in each other. Their love is a testament to the beauty of partnership, the strength of loyalty, and the joy of shared moments." Mark and Emily exchanged vows they had written themselves, each word a promise etched into their hearts. Mark spoke first, his voice steady and filled with emotion. "Emily, you are my light, my love, and my best friend. From this day forward, I promise to stand by your side, to support you, and to cherish every moment we share. I vow to love you with all that I am, for all my days." Emily's eyes glistened with tears as she responded, her voice a whisper of sincerity. "Mark, you have brought so much joy and love into my life. You are my rock, my confidant, and my greatest adventure. I promise to be your partner in all things, to lift you up, and to love you with a heart that knows no bounds. Together, we will face the world, hand in hand." With the exchange of rings, symbols of their eternal bond, they sealed their vows. As the officiant pronounced them husband and wife, Mark and Emily shared their first kiss as a married couple, a kiss that spoke of promises kept and dreams yet to come. The reception was a celebration of love and unity. Under a canopy of twinkling lights, guests danced and laughed, toasting to the newlyweds. Mark and Emily moved through the crowd, their faces glowing with happiness. They shared their first dance to a song that held special meaning for them, their movements graceful and in sync. As the night wore on, the stars above seemed to shine a little brighter, as if celebrating the union of two souls destined to be together. Surrounded by loved ones, Mark and Emily felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude and love. In the quiet moments that followed, as the party began to wind down, they stole away to a secluded spot under an ancient oak tree. The sounds of laughter and music faded, leaving them in a cocoon of stillness and peace. "Emily," Mark said softly, his fingers entwined with hers, "this day has been everything I dreamed of and more. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you." Emily leaned into him, her heart full. "Me too, Mark. Our journey is just beginning, and I know it's going to be beautiful." Under the canopy of stars, they shared a quiet moment, their hearts beating in unison. The future stretched out before them, a canvas waiting to be painted with their shared dreams and adventures. And as they stood together, they knew that no matter what lay ahead, their love would guide them, unwavering and true. Months passed after the wedding, and Mark and Emily settled into their life together. Their days were filled with shared routines and small joys, their nights with whispered conversations and dreams for the future. The love between them grew deeper, rooted in the everyday moments that formed the tapestry of their life. One afternoon, Mark decided to take a walk through the city park where he often found solace. The air was crisp, and the leaves rustled gently in the breeze, their autumn colors painting a serene picture. As he strolled along the familiar path, his thoughts were on Emily and the happiness they had found together. Lost in his reverie, Mark almost didn't notice the disheveled figure sitting on a bench near the fountain. It was the sound of a faint, familiar voice that drew his attention. He turned, his heart skipping a beat as he recognized the person before him. There, hunched over and looking much older than he remembered, was Sarah, his former wife. Her once vibrant eyes were now dulled by hardship, her clothes tattered and dirty. She seemed a shadow of the woman he had once known, her spirit broken by years of struggle and regret. Mark hesitated for a moment, his emotions a swirl of surprise, pity, and unresolved pain. He approached cautiously, his steps slow and deliberate. Sarah looked up as he neared, her eyes widening in recognition. "Mark," she whispered, her voice trembling, "is that really you?" He nodded, his expression softening as he took in the sight of her. "Yes, Sarah, it's me." Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, and she wiped them away with a shaky hand. I didn't expect to see you here. It's been so long." Mark sat down beside her, the weight of their shared past hanging between them. "It has been a long time," he replied gently. "How have you been, Sarah?" She let out a bitter laugh, the sound echoing in the quiet of the park. "Not well, as you can see. Life hasn't been kind to me since everything fell apart." Mark listened as Sarah recounted the years of hardship she had endured after their separation. She spoke of failed relationships, financial struggles, and the deep regret that gnawed at her every day. It was clear that the choices she had made had led her down a path of suffering and loss. "I'm so sorry, Mark," she said, her voice breaking. "I made so many mistakes. I hurt you, and I hurt myself. I lost everything, and I've paid the price." Mark felt a pang of compassion for Sarah, despite the pain she had caused him. He reached out, taking her hand in his. "Sarah, we all make mistakes. The past can't be changed, but we can choose how we move forward." She looked at him, her eyes filled with remorse and longing. "I don't deserve your forgiveness, Mark, but seeing you here, I realize how much I threw away. I see now what I lost." Mark sighed, his gaze distant as he reflected on their past. "Sarah, I found happiness again. I met someone who showed me what love truly is. But I also learned that holding on to anger and resentment only hurts us more." Sarah nodded, understanding dawning in her eyes. "I'm glad you found happiness, Mark. You deserve it." For a moment, they sat in silence, the only sound the gentle trickle of water from the fountain. Mark felt a sense of closure wash over him, a release from the burden of the past. "I hope you find peace, Sarah," he said softly. "It's never too late to start anew." She smiled through her tears, a glimmer of hope in her expression. "Thank you, Mark. That means more than you know." As Mark stood to leave, he offered Sarah a final, heartfelt embrace. "Take care of yourself," he whispered. With a nod, she watched him walk away, her heart lighter than it had been in years. Mark continued his walk through the park, his thoughts turning to Emily and the life they had built together. He felt grateful for the love and joy that filled his days, and for the chance to finally put the past to rest. That evening, as he recounted the encounter to Emily, she listened with understanding and compassion. "You did the right thing, Mark," she said, squeezing his hand. "Forgiveness is a gift, both to others and to ourselves." He smiled, feeling the truth of her words. Together, they faced the future with hearts unburdened by the past, their love a beacon guiding them through life's unexpected turns. The encounter with Sarah left Mark with a profound sense of peace. He had confronted the ghost of his past and found the strength to forgive, both Sarah and himself. This newfound serenity deepened the bond he shared with Emily, their relationship blossoming in the light of his unburdened heart. One quiet evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over their home, Mark and Emily sat together on the porch. The scent of blooming jasmine filled the air, and the soft chirping of crickets provided a soothing backdrop to their conversation. "Emily," Mark began, his voice gentle, "I've been thinking a lot about our journey, about everything we've overcome to be where we are now." Emily turned to him, her eyes warm and understanding. "I have too, Mark. It's been quite a journey, hasn't it?" Mark nodded, his gaze distant as he reflected on the past. "Meeting Sarah today made me realize just how far I've come. I was so lost after she left, but finding you was like discovering a lighthouse in a storm. You guided me back to myself, to love, and to happiness." Emily squeezed his hand, her touch a comforting reminder of their connection. "You've done the same for me, Mark. We've healed together, grown together. Your strength and your forgiveness have been a beacon for me too." Mark took a deep breath, feeling the weight of his words. Forgiving Sarah wasn't just about letting go of the pain she caused. It was about freeing myself from the chains of the past, allowing myself to fully embrace the present and the future with you. Emily's eyes shimmered with emotion. "That's the beauty of forgiveness, isn't it? It's not just a gift to others, but to ourselves as well. It opens the door to healing, to love, and to a life unburdened by resentment." Mark smiled, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. Exactly. And I want our life together to be one filled with love, compassion, and understanding. I want to teach our children the power of forgiveness, so they too can find peace in their hearts." Emily nodded, her heart swelling with pride and love for the man beside her. "We will, Mark. We'll create a home where love and forgiveness are at the core, where our children learn to embrace life's challenges with grace and resilience." As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Mark and Emily sat in silence, their hearts beating in perfect harmony. They had faced their pasts, forgiven the wounds inflicted by time and circumstance, and emerged stronger, more united than ever. In the days that followed, the couple found themselves even more attuned to each other's needs and dreams. They planned their future with a sense of joy and anticipation, their shared vision of a life built on love and forgiveness guiding their every step. Mark continued to visit the park, now a place of reflection and gratitude. Each walk reminded him of the journey he had taken, the lessons he had learned, and the love that now filled his life. He often found himself smiling at the memories, thankful for the path that had led him to Emily. One day, while sitting on their porch, Emily turned to Mark with a thoughtful expression. "You know, Mark, I've been thinking about what you said about teaching our children the power of forgiveness. I think we should share our story, our journey, with others. It might help those who are struggling with their own pain and resentment." Mark considered her words, a sense of purpose filling him. "You're right, Emily. Our story could be a beacon of hope for others, a testament to the healing power of love and forgiveness." And so, they began to write their story, pouring their hearts into each page. They recounted the pain, the healing, and the joy they had found in each other. Their words became a source of inspiration for many, a reminder that even the deepest wounds could be healed with love, understanding, and forgiveness. As their story spread, Mark and Emily received letters and messages from people who had found solace and strength in their words. The couple realized that their journey was not just their own, but a shared human experience of resilience and hope. Through it all, Mark and Emily's love grew ever stronger, their bond unbreakable. They had faced the shadows of their past, embraced the light of forgiveness, and built a future filled with endless possibilities. And in doing so, they had discovered the true power of love, a love that could heal, transform, and inspire. Years passed, and Mark and Emily's family flourished in an atmosphere of love and understanding. Their home became a sanctuary, filled with laughter, learning, and the gentle hum of life lived well. Mark and Emily's story continued to inspire many, spreading hope and resilience to those who needed it most. One summer evening, as the golden light of the setting sun bathed their home in warmth, a letter arrived. It was an invitation to a high school reunion, a gathering of old friends and classmates. Mark held the letter in his hands, memories flooding back of those days long gone. "Emily," he said, holding the invitation up for her to see, "it's a reunion. They're inviting us to the school where it all began." Emily looked at the letter, her eyes filled with curiosity and a hint of apprehension. "Do you want to go?" she asked gently. Mark nodded slowly. "I think it's time. I've moved on, but revisiting the past might bring closure, another layer of peace." And so, they decided to attend. On the day of the reunion, they dressed in their finest, a reflection of the grace and dignity they had cultivated over the years. Their children, now young adults, watched them with admiration, understanding the significance of this moment. Arriving at the school, Mark and Emily were greeted by familiar faces, some marked by the passage of time, others unchanged. Conversations flowed easily, laughter echoing through the halls. As they moved through the crowd, Mark felt a tap on his shoulder. Turning, he saw Sarah. She stood there, a mixture of nervousness and hope in her eyes. "Mark, Emily," she began, her voice trembling slightly, "I'm so glad you came. I've thought about you both often over the years." Emily smiled warmly, and Mark nodded, feeling a sense of calm. "It's good to see you, Sarah," he said. "Life has taken us on quite a journey, hasn't it?" Sarah nodded, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "It has. I wanted to thank you, Mark. Your forgiveness allowed me to find peace, to move forward. I've tried to live a better life since then." Mark placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We all deserve a chance to heal, Sarah. I'm glad you found your way." As the evening progressed, they shared stories, reliving moments of their youth and reflecting on the paths they had taken. The atmosphere was one of reconciliation and understanding, a tapestry of lives woven together by time and experience. Towards the end of the night, the organizers called for everyone's attention. They invited Mark to share a few words, knowing his story had touched many hearts. Standing before his old classmates, with Emily by his side, Mark took a deep breath. "Life is a journey, full of unexpected twists and turns," he began, his voice steady and warm. "We've all faced our share of challenges, made our mistakes, and hopefully, learned from them. What I've come to realize is that forgiveness is not just a gift we give others, but a gift we give ourselves. It frees us from the chains of the past and opens our hearts to love and joy." He paused, looking around at the faces of those who had shared his formative years. "I've been blessed with a wonderful family, with love and support that have carried me through, and for that, I am eternally grateful. We all have the power to forgive, to heal, and to build a better future." As he finished speaking, the room erupted in applause, a testament to the impact of his words. Mark looked at Emily, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. They had come full circle, from the pain of the past to the beauty of the present, and now, the promise of the future. The reunion ended, but the connections rekindled that night continued to grow. Mark and Emily's story remained a beacon of hope, a reminder that love and forgiveness could transform lives. And as they returned home, hand in hand, they knew that their journey was far from over, but they would face it together, with hearts full of love and a spirit unbreakable. As the reunion came to a close, Mark and Emily walked through the familiar hallways, now filled with memories of both joy and pain. They left the school hand in hand, their hearts light with the knowledge that they had come full circle. The night sky stretched out above them, stars twinkling like the dreams they had once shared as young lovers. Back at home, their children were waiting, eager to hear about the evening. Sitting together in the cozy living room, Mark and Emily recounted their experience, the warmth of family surrounding them like a comforting embrace. "How was it, Dad?" asked Michael, their eldest son, his eyes filled with curiosity. Mark smiled, looking at Emily before replying. "It was more than just a reunion, son. It was a chance to reflect on how far we've come, to see the strength of forgiveness and the power of love." Emily nodded, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. "We saw old friends, faced old wounds, and realized how much we've grown. It was beautiful, in its own way." Their daughter, Lily, leaned in, her voice soft. "I'm so proud of you both. You've taught us so much about resilience and love." Mark's heart swelled with pride and love for his children. "We are proud of all of you too. Our family is our greatest achievement." As the evening grew late, they all moved outside to the garden, where the night air was cool and the sky clear. They sat under the stars, sharing dreams and hopes for the future. The garden, a symbol of their growth and nurturing, was a testament to the life they had built together. Michael spoke up, his voice filled with determination. "I want to make a difference, just like you two have. To be someone who forgives, who loves deeply," Lily added, "and to always remember that family is the most important thing. You've shown us that." Emily squeezed Mark's hand, feeling the depth of their journey together. "We've all learned so much from each other, and the future is bright, as long as we stay true to ourselves and each other." As they sat there, under the canopy of stars, Mark felt an overwhelming sense of peace. The past, with all its pain and hardship, had led them to this moment of profound love and understanding. He realized that every step of their journey had been worth it, for it had brought them here, to a place of unwavering support and boundless love. In the quiet of the night, with his family by his side, Mark knew that their story was far from over. It was a story of redemption, of new beginnings, and of the endless possibilities that lay ahead. They would face the future together, with hearts full of hope and the unbreakable bond of a family that had weathered every storm. And so, under the vast expanse of the night sky, Mark and Emily, along with their children, looked forward to the dawn of a new day. Their hearts were light, their spirits strong, and their love a beacon that would guide them through whatever lay ahead. For they had learned the true meaning of family, and they knew that together they could overcome anything.